Hello everybody, welcome to Bass and Bonsai. I'm getting ready to get out of here. I've made a couple videos already today out on the water. I got one more to put together here real quick for you guys. So let me grab hold of you. Let me give you a Joe Biden. What we have here, I'm gonna cast every combo I have, well, with me. I do have 4 or 5 at home maybe, but this is all I brought with me. Majority of what I'll be using, a couple I'm gonna probably weed out, but while I have them all here, I'm gonna make one cast with each one out here. Jump, you beautiful fish!
Woo! Dang you, why'd you have to catch one the size I caught?
Ah, get up here! That's about... Here's the balloon handle, I think. Hello everybody, welcome to Bass and Bonsai. That's how we do it. Mwah. It's exactly how you do it. Big monster. Give you a rundown of what all I use fishing. So, you know what? Let's just start. Let's just jump into it. I'm gonna start real quick with my newest thing I picked up. You remember the Cayenne Teton? I just made a deal with the guy, and I think his daughter had dropped it. It's got a couple scratches right here. It's got a few scuffs here and there, but this is an awesome reel. It's a Metanium MGL with a bunch of KTF and hedgehog parts all over it, spool, bearings, everything. Look at this, like it's loaded. So anyway, that's my newest reel. It's got a crappie jig on it, 16th ounce. And I'm just going to bring it back and we'll see what we get. The Cayenne Teton, you guys have seen and heard about it. It's got the it's a 2-piece, but it is crazy lightweight. I'm not liable to catch a little crappie here. Capable of casting these little crappie jigs. It's like crazy. It'll bend and flex, but it's a strong rod. It can take a beating. So we've got that one. I'll put them up as I go. Now this probably isn't the home for this guy. So this one you guys know, MG Extreme 2 Fantasista rod, pretty solid. I love it for almost anything 1/2 ounce, chatterbaits especially. I was using it there for a while as a jerk bait, but it's a little too stiff for me for some of the treble baits. The length, 6'3" on the Cayenne Teton, 6'7" on the Fantasista. This is a kind of custom built rod by me. It's a Berkeley lightning rod of all rods, but see that tip is pretty soft and then gets pretty stiff real quick. I like that. That's the BFS XG Aldebaran 2016 model. Just did a shootout video, be looking forward to that one. And this thing is pretty much my do anything lightweight baits. Like I'm gonna use it for, I like it for topwater, 16th ounce jig heads. You could use it for a shaky head. Almost any kind of, you know, like what I have on it now, just something kind of the lighter weight, 1/4 ounce or lighter, say, it would be good. It's soft enough. I know it loads up pretty quick, but it's soft enough. It'd be good for like some of your smaller jerk baits and crankbait, stuff like that too. This is one of my more finesse. It is softer than the other one I just showed you, a lightning rod. This is a custom built one. I'm not sure what the specs were. If you can kind of tell, it's kind of weird. The tip doesn't bend, then it bends right there, but it actually makes for an awesome feel once you get out and use it. It's a 6'6". This is the Revo ALC BF7. And this makes for a very lightweight, awesome combo. I'll show you real quick, like how balanced. Some of those other ones don't balance that great. This is one of mine that balances real great. Now there's some cover out there somewhere. I'm gonna catch a fish with one of these. One jumps right behind us. I'm gonna try to actually catch a fish while I'm showing you these combos. And I originally tended to put these two together. It goes together pretty good. Like I said, I'm going to hit that. Alright, let's move on to another bait. Is pretty much my baby. The one, my favorite now. And you see this one, kind of the whole rod. It's only 6 foot Fantasista rod, but it's super lightweight. It's also one of those that has a crazy balance going. Balances real well. And it, even though it's only 6 foot long, it still has ability to cast like the lighter weight stuff pretty far. Makes for a real good fight when you're fighting the fish. That's the LTX BF8. Come on, shaky, shaky. Shaky, shaky. Well, no shaky. Probably my overall favorite rod and reel. That one with the MG Extreme 2. Shimano, this is the Aldebaran. This is the 2015 model. And this is my jerkbait rod. It's about, let's check. Yeah, I think it's like 6'8". It's a little longer than my 6'7" Fantasista. And I use it for jerk baits. You can also use it for rattle traps. Kind of anything that's a little bit not quite as powerful, I guess, as the Fantasista. As far as it loads further down, but so it has a little more forgiveness. I like it for anything with treble hooks, a jerk bait. But you could also use it for the smaller jigs, like the jigs that aren't really BFS size, but aren't, you know, ½ ounce, 3/4, 1 ounce jigs. This is also a bait that I use, kind of like a jerk bait, but in any kind of cover. I do have a rattle on that one. But this is an awesome combo now. That's that new line. I'll give you the link to that. We'll be looking for the video where I talk about that line I just picked up. It's cheap line. I think it's like $8 a spool, and it is 8 strand, and it goes real good. It's like a bluish gray, light bluish gray. This at one time was for sure my favorite combo, still is my favorite rod. It's just I put other reels on this rod, and since it's a Mega Bass rod, and it loads, it's not far from what that lightning rod is. It's got a little more stiffness all throughout. Like the lightning rod changes from kind of soft to then stiff quicker, where this one's more, I guess, smooth throughout, why it's a lot more expensive. But feels amazing. I think the balance isn't quite, like I got to get a little further out, but it balances pretty good with the alphas on it. And that is the Shading X 6'6", f2.5. I had the Super Criff hanger, looked just like this, was basically 3 inches shorter, 6'3", and it felt almost identical. It's just this, anything it could do, this could do the same, maybe a touch better. So I ended up thinking I didn't need that many reels or rods, so I sold it. Should have kept it, because these Destroyer X7 rods are kind of getting hard to come by. And that's the Alpha's Ito AI with the Kasuji spool. And that baby just flat casts like whatever lightweight stuff. It'll cast a 16th ounce crappie jig, not as well on this rod, but it can go up to, you know, heavier stuff. It's got audible drag. This is a heck of a reel. I was going to catch a bass. A cheaper rod, but a good rod, and a very expensive reel that cost me a fortune to get it looking like this. It was for sale, but nobody wants to buy it, so I'll probably just keep it. I'll check the balance on, this is a 7'1". This is one of the longest rods I have, but it just felt so good at the store, I was like, well, I'll try it. And if you guys, that's the Aurora, Elite Aurora 71. If you guys don't know about it, but it has ZPI spool, and this thing is heavy as a tank, looks like a work of art, and just flat works, does everything it's supposed to do. It's just palms a little bit bigger and feels heavier than what I like nowadays. Alright, I can cast it again. It casts so good. Let's keep going. I'm almost done. You guys are probably like, holy cow, how long does it take to cast all these? Here is old school rod and reel. This is the Daiwa, Team Daiwa X rod. It was one of their lightweight finesse rods before BFS was a term they used. It was just, you know, finesse stuff out there. This is the you guys know what this was. I'm not even going to talk about what that is. You guys know what reel that is. If you don't, figure it out. This one's been changed around a little bit. The only thing really truly modified, well, I got the drag loose, I cut the handle down, sanded that down because it was all nasty, give it to almost a bone look, and then switched out the spool, added the clicking drag. Other than that one noisy bearing you'll hear, all the bearings, all that stuff is still stock from way back when. Same thing with this rod. This power hump looking thing, kind of like Bass Pro had for a while. I think these may have had them first, I don't know. I love this. I wish they would bring this back, but and the rod is awesome because it's 6'6". If you can tell, it kind of loads, and then it has another bend. Like we've talked about, some of these JDM rods have that. They have almost like a double taper thing going on. They go, and then they should just stiffen up, but then they kind of go again to another flex back into here further, and that one kind of does that to where it starts out look like it's just soft at the tip, which lets it throw lighter stuff, but then it also is more forgiving, so it can be used like for cranks and stuff like that, and for lightweight jigs. It's kind of a all-around finesse rod that I still use. I mean, it still works. It's almost as good as any of them I have. It's a tad, not with, so much with this reel, but it's a tad tip heavy, especially with a lighter weight reel. But it's awesome to have on this, like a retro, you know, combo. You want to know what it was like to fish, say, 10, 15 years ago, whenever these two came out, which were still awesome, you know, tools to use before they actually had BFS super shallow spools. This spool is a aftermarket one, but the stock spool can cast down pretty low. This, I don't even know what to do with this. I just threw these together. I just fixed this one. This was one of the last customs. I picked it up cheap because it needed an eye from, you guys remember talking about Black Haze, that jerkbait rod I built, my favorite one that I broke a while back when I first got it from him. And then this one, I've never really liked this one. It's 7 foot. It actually is pretty lightweight for what it is. I mean, it doesn't balance the greatest with that, but it's, I don't know. At one time it had, this was probably real cool looking. It looks like it's been sanded down a little bit. It was like that before I got it. Pretty thin. I wish it was thicker, but it's actually a good solid rod that would be good for, like, you know, jigs. Probably excellent if you use like 7 foot rods for chatterbaits. It would probably make an excellent chatterbait rod, but it's a tad long for me, as heavy as it is. Just feels like a tank compared to what I use. But if I was going somewhere where it was definitely, I knew that was tougher, you know, cover wise, and you know, needed something just a little bit longer to move the line. I almost cast it again. All right, I'm done with that one. And lastly, My homemade luckiest rod I own, Noah. This is the only rod Noah ever used. He beat me 8-0. I think this is the rod I believe Olivia caught her personal best on, and it's just a cheap Abu Garcia Gold Max. It said it was originally 6'8". It's shorter now, and light action 1/4 to 3/8, but it's actually can throw way lighter than it. The whole thing kind of flexes, and I love the action. It reminds me of the old school fly rods. It's just got the whole thing kind of bends softly. And I'm thinking about putting, see how huge and spaced out those eyes are? I'm thinking about actually clearing it off and putting smaller eyes and a few more. Of course, a lot smaller tip. That tip's huge. It would make it, you know, it would give it a more balanced, it's fairly balanced now, but it would be like crazy balanced. And just look and feel better with the, you know, smaller. It doesn't need those eyes that big. This is old school. I just put the Mega Bass handle on it. That is one of the cheapest and best BFS reels you can get, the Habo Steed. Not really throwing a true BFS bait with it, but this is still my favorite of the what I call AliExpress reels, the reels you can buy off AliExpress for like 50, 58, you know, under 60 bucks shipped and all. And it just looks good. I put the handle on. Everything else is stock, and you know, other than the handle and the line, comes with a cool drag star. Now that doesn't click, but it's kind of like it kind of reminds me of the Alphas in a way. And the only thing I talked about before, that is misleading and it makes you think that it's backwards. So when I first started out, I hated this one, but I was actually had the drag all the way loose. You know, I started out halfway and kept going looser, thinking it was tighter, and kept backlashing, couldn't figure it out until I just took the back off, which is easy to do because it's got this thing like the Abu Garcia. And I cast that twice, didn't I? And you just, while you're turning the dial, you watch these magnets go in and out, and I was like, oh, I'm turning it wrong because that thing's misleading. So anyway, I didn't catch a fish. I was hoping to catch a fish during that test. There they all are. If you've got a favorite, comment below what's your favorite rod or reel, or if you say, hey man, that reel would look good on that other rod or something, maybe something I haven't even thought of. Because I do try to, you know, do you guys play with your combo? That sounded dirty. Do you guys play with your combo mix up and like change, you know, switch them around? I do that just to see what this would look and feel like, how it, you know, works. I kind of thinking I might put this, I don't know, that Aldebaran goes so good on that jerkbait rod is what I originally thought about putting a Metanium on was for that. But I'm not even sure. I passed up this reel originally. It was on for sale, believe it or not, for only 280 bucks. And I passed on it, and then he said, anybody for 260, and I was like, jumped on it. There's like $400 worth of parts on there, not counting the reel. And the reels are still selling. I think the beat up reels are still selling for like almost $200 on eBay. Because the Metanium, you know, a few scratches doesn't hurt it. It's a solid, stout. Those are awesome reels. Getting red. All right, guys. Hope you liked that video. Like the rod and reel combos. Like I said, comment. Let me know what you think. Which ones are your favorites? I had this thing for sale. I kind of put it back to this old school look. I think I'm going to actually keep this. This is one of, I coined the phrase, my rat reel. Like a rat rod in a car. I've got a few of those. As you can tell, I love to tinker with my rod and reels. I got them all mixed around. I'll take two rods that were well, not perfectly fine. I usually find one that's got it jacked up. I broke the rod, but it's got an awesome handle, so I'll get another rod, put that rod on that handle. So anyway, hope you liked this video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Help share this channel by telling everybody that you know about Bass and Bonsai. We do both here, and I said do. But we mainly are doing bass fishing right now because the bonsai side is struggling. It's not me. You guys think it's me? Okay, maybe it's me. since I'm the only one doing bonsai. So get out of here and go bat some bonsai somewhere else. I gotta get off the bank. I'm stuck. Like, seriously. Look at that little black-eyed devil. Oh, get it! Yeah! It got it. But really. All right, we are out of here. One more cast. Talked me into it. One more. I was tearing them up with this thing earlier. I mean, you guys should have seen it. It was, oh, you will. You'll see it in the video. But you should have seen it. I got something. What do I have on? You guys didn't even say anything. I had a spider on me. There we go. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Where you guys at? Oh! Going around the boat. Oh boy. Get on there. Try to get him where you guys can see him. That is a nice one, 4 or 5 pounder. See him? Yeah! Woo! You gotta see that bass. Get over here. You big giant! Woo! Now we're talking. Where'd you guys go? Yeah! Monster. Well, wait, I got a scale.